Okay, so Susan, you have chosen your own silhouette. For me, I like Alice in the Wonderland. I think that the silhouette, it is really romantic, and I like the shape of Alice here, so I choose the silhouette. So what you have to do is you have to make a draft on this silhouette, because later on we will use the plastic to cut on it. So you have to make draft on it. So to begin with, I'm just thinking about instead of drawing all the details or the features of Alice, I would like to use typography that is using words to deliver my message. For example, if you still remember in Alice in the Wonderland, in the story that they have a very long table, they have the high tea there, and then there's lots of characters joining in that high tea. So I remember that scene a lot, and it impressed me a lot. So I would like to use the word drink me, which I think it is very fit with the Alice here. So what you have to do is, I'm thinking about maybe I can design the word just along the features of Alice. So instead of using some very orderly format, I would like to use some curved line to draw the word. So when you're drafting on your silhouette, because this is black in color, so I would suggest you to choose some light color pencil to make the draft. So you will see that the words I decide it is draw along the curved line that I have set here to fit with the curvy features of Alice. And then the letter me here, so I would like to have a top line and a bottom line here to stay clearly of what I have to draw. So we see that I have clearly drawn the typography here. And for the rest of the part, because we are going to make Mandalic, so for Mandalic, you will use the sewing threads, and then we will try to pass it through all different areas to make some cross sections here. So before that, we have to reserve a line. As you can see that the plastic here, we have to reserve a line which is thick enough for later on we have to pin the holes in it. So what you have to do is, I think you better reserve at least 1 cm thick on the edge. So for me, I like to design on the dress of Alice. So I would like to decorate it with those sewing threads. So I have to draw the line to indicate where should I put it. Okay, so you can imagine later on when we pin the hole along the edge, and then your thread, you will penetrate into different sides of the silhouette. So you can also use your ruler, or if you don't need a ruler, you can draw which part you would like to show the threads. And so on. So this is for you to making the draft, and then afterward, then you need the other two materials. The first one is a plastic folder. Okay, and then you need a cutting pen or a cutter if you have it. And then what you have to do, you have to use the clip to clip the silhouette and also the folder together. So for here, so I have to use the clip to just clip it together. So that I can fix the position of it. And then you have to cut out those details that you have drawn inside first before you cut the whole shape of Alice out, okay? So you have to cut the words first. So based on your draft, and then use the cutting pen. So when you hold your cutting pen, it's just like you're holding a pen. Okay, so you will see that I just slightly cut on it, and then the plastic is already removed. So always remember that you can move your work in order to make yourself convenient and comfortable to do the cutting. So some of the time, if you find that the corner part, you have to press it on more to remove it, then you have to cut it a few more times. In order to cut out the work. So I won't show it all to you, but you know what I'm doing now. After cutting all the words and including this part, because I'm going to remove away to put the threads on, so you can cut out the outline of Alice, then you will have the piece of work like this, okay? So you can see that all the words have been cut out and the features of it already seen clearly. Okay, and then the next step, and it is the final step, that you are going to add the threads to form the mandalic here. So what you have for your materials here, so you will get a pin here that we usually use on the board, and then we have a needle and thread. Okay, so you can choose the color that you like, but I will, in the lesson I will tell you how you can match the color. For the color that I chosen here, so I would like to make a very girly style or mood into Alice, so I choose pastel color. You can see the light pink, yellow, and blue. They match each other very well. So you can choose maybe contrast color, it's fit with your character, or you want some similar or family color that it looks more harmonious in your work. So you can see how you can combine the color to make a good color scheme. So for the thread part, so after you have put the thread inside the needle, then you have to make an end here. So just like what you did, I don't think that is very difficult, right? Okay, so you just make an end here. Okay. And then for the thread here, you can see that here I keep it long enough, and the other side it is shorter. It's almost the length of the thread, of the needle, okay? And afterward, you just look at your draft and then try to find out the hole here. So some of the time, if you find that a hole that is not clear enough or big enough for you to put the thread on, you have to use the pin again to make it sharper. Oh, I forgot one thing. If you have I will provide you some paper box. Okay, when you're making the hole, it will be easier for you to pin on the board with the plastic. So it will be quick enough and a hole will be big enough for you to use. And then afterward, then you can use the needle and then put the thread on, and then find the area that you are going to on the end. Okay, so I have to stop here, so I have to flip it over here. So for this part with the needle, you just need to move it around like a circle. And for the needle, you have to put it underneath the thread here. Okay, I'll do it one more time. And you put it, when you penetrate inside this hole, and then this thread, just make it like a circle. And then for the needle, put it underneath the thread. And then penetrate through the hole. And then you have to use your finger here to hold the end. Make sure that it is tightly fit with the end, and your thread, it will keep it straight, and your silhouette, it is flattened and then placed on the cutting mat properly. So you can see the hole here. If you put your finger to fix the position, then you will see the end will stop here sharply. Okay, so for this part, you have to make all the lines one by one. Okay, so if you want to change the other colors, then very simply that you just need to cut it out. Just cut out the end. Okay, then if you like to change the color into yellow or pink, okay, so accordingly, then you can change the thread.